Welcome to Age Reversing Health, where we discuss ways to help you go far beyond just surviving this life, with practical and proven solutions to literally turning the clock back on aging so you can live your best life. Live younger for longer. Now, here's your hosts, Carl Krebs and Judy Friesen.
All right. Well, we are switching things up a little bit this week because of our late start. And we're going to move into age reversing health with Judy Friesen, who is just joining us right now. And I want to, hopefully these videos that we've got set up are going to play. But Judy, welcome to the show. Age Reversing Health. How are you? You had a 2-week holiday from us. Did you miss us?
Yeah, really, eh? Yeah, what can you say? I'm all rested and ready to go.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, on this show, we've got some interesting stuff to talk about. And I want to move to something here. And hopefully this is going to play, but give me a moment, please. And 1 second here. Technical. I'm going to go to a share screen here. We're going to hear from David Schmidt for just a moment, the CEO, founder, and creator of all of the patches here.
So, for example, the past year, we've been speaking with organizations to clean microplastics out of the environment. So we're going to be coming out with a technology. It has something to do with water, and there's an enormous need in our environment today to get all these plastics out of the environment. They're showing up in all human beings. So if we don't get the plastics out of the environment, it's going to have a detrimental impact on our kids and then their grandkids. And so this is the time that we should be responding.
All right. Well, that was David Schmidt, CEO, founder of LifeWave Technology, the most advanced photo light therapy patches. And tell me about that video and what it said to you, Judy.
Well, first of all, I am so amazed that LifeWave is a leader in the industry for not just wearable wellness patches, but also concerned about our planet and our environment. And in that clip, David mentioned something really important that we actually discussed a few weeks ago, Carl, when we were talking about hormone health. And specifically, when we did the segment on men's hormone health, which was the last segment that we did, I talked about the incredible concern about plastics in our environment. And why did I mention that? Because plastics actually are estrogenic, which means it mimics estrogen. And so that, you may say, is great for women, but it's actually very detrimental if you have too much estrogen. But for men, it is even worse, because we are seeing men have all kinds of problems, right from their problems with their sperm counts, and specifically their shape of who they are is changing. And I talked about this weird phenomenon where men are actually growing these small man boobs, we call them, and it's actually estrogen that's stimulating their breasts. And so, David,
Judy, when you mentioned that in that conversation we had, I started to take notice. It was still summertime, kids were on the beach, and I was horrified to see how many young men, and I went back to older pictures. Some people have posted pictures of us in the 60s on the beach, and you see the increase in obesity, and you see young boys with these boobs, and it is a problem. I was shocked when you pointed it right to estrogen and plastics. So I absolutely agree with you. We need to get these toxins out of our body. That's why we're going to talk about detoxifying here. So I want to play another clip here, Judy, and this is about glutathione. I think that's the next one that you wanted me to play, the 5-day versus that. Let me just get that up here. 1 second, please. And we'll go to that in a minute here, because this is powerful.
We did a clinical study years ago on our glutathione patch, and the premise was very simple. We wanted to have one group of people that used the glutathione patch for 5 days and another group that used the product for 7 days. And we used a technique called electrointerstitial scanning. And we had a biomedical researcher, Dr. Homer Nazaran, at the University of Texas in El Paso, who was conducting the study. And I'm looking at the statistics on the data. And the results of that study were actually quite surprising. What we found, and this was done in the late 2000s, what we found was that people that were using the glutathione patch 7 days a week got about twice of the benefit as only using it 5 days per week. And what that said to me was that we are under constant bombardment by environmental toxins. This can show up in our food, our water, in the air, and also electromagnetic pollution. So we need to be proactive every single day in terms of what we're doing for our health. We can't take that for granted anymore. So we really need to be thinking about the quality of the food that we're consuming, what nutritional supplements do we use, drinking clean water, getting proper rest, shielding ourselves from EMFs, which have an extraordinarily detrimental effect on our health. So we need to be proactive every single day to protect our health. Otherwise, in the long term, that health can be compromised. So starting with a healthy diet and a clean diet is critically important. And in some countries, especially over in Europe, it's a lot easier than it is here in the U.S.
All right. Go back to Judy here for a moment. Prior to that video, Michael Jaco had shared how he and his family went to China. And he shared about how the kids and himself felt so much better. Not China, pardon me. He toured Egypt and several other countries. He mentioned Egypt. And how they felt so much better. And even his daughter came back, and when she consumed some local food, she got really sick. So let's get into it now and talk about this detoxification. Let's talk about glutathione and how important it is in our body. How important is glutathione in our body, Judy?
Glutathione, Carl, is absolutely critical. It's been shown that when we have low stores of glutathione in our bloodstream, we can develop all kinds of degenerative disease. They're linking it to problems with MS and Parkinson's. That has been actually studied. Your body makes glutathione. That's the good news. Your liver can make glutathione. That's a master antioxidant that actually helps to clean your blood and your organs. Here's the bad news. As we age, we can't make as much. And so then when you put that coupled on top of the fact that our environment is putting out more and more and more toxins, there's more and more and more food additives that we're getting in our food chain, in the water that we drink, in the air that we breathe, it becomes almost impossible to keep up with creating and having enough glutathione to protect our organs. That's why David said, be proactive and do it every single day. But Carl, who do you know that has time in their life to think about this every single day? Because every day that goes by that you don't think about it, your bodies are being bombarded, your cells are being bombarded with this. We have a solution that can help the average person with this everyday need.
Okay, so before we get to the solution that LifeWave offers, let's look at some of the practical ways in which people ingest or raise their glutathione levels. And I know the numbers, but I want you to express it from your 38 years of being a health coach, because that tells the people you can speak with authority on. So talk about the glutathione supplements that are out there. And let's leave the LifeWave patch aside for a moment.
Sure thing. And we do want to remind our listeners that neither of us are doctors, and we don't heal, treat, diagnose, or cure anybody. This show is about general wellness and talking about what are some scientific studies that are out there. That being said, you asked the question, what about glutathione? Well, you can take it by mouth. There are glutathione supplements, but think about this. As soon as you absorb the glutathione through the stomach, which is a big if you actually can break it down and absorb it, it only lasts in the bloodstream for 4 to 6 hours, and then it's gone. So you've got 16 or 18 more hours where you're still not being protected. So the supplements have been studied by LifeWave and independent labs to see if people taking it by mouth, if their urine and their blood shows glutathione being raised, and how long, and it doesn't last very long.
So numbers that are bouncing around in my head is that glutathione, by traditional means of ingesting it, as you say, in the stomach, that's a long way to get to where you need to go. The stomach is like starting at the wrong end and trying to figure out and not knowing about the shortcut. So, but you're getting maybe what, 25, 30% raise in glutathione with traditional supplements. Am I right on that?
That's right. Most people take either a powder or a tablet or a capsule, and you may raise your glutathione levels by 25, 30%. That's not really enough to protect you from the craziness that's out there with all these toxins that we're exposed to.
Okay, so we got 25, 30%, which are numbers that people have lived with for years. Now let's talk about what this LifeWave light therapy patch called glutathione can do. Please share with our audience, because the numbers are astounding.
Absolutely. First of all, I should say that there may be people out there that say, but Judy, what about having IV treatments of glutathione? You can have an injection of glutathione, and that does raise your levels up to 200-300%, but it only lasts for a number of hours, maybe a day, and then you've spent all that money, and where are you the next day or the next week? It's not feasible financially to keep having IV treatments of glutathione. So that one's out. So we've talked about number one, this supplement doesn't really work as good as it could. Number two, the IV treatment is not the answer. And so I am thrilled in my practice as a health coach to have found a much better solution, a much better answer. And of all things, it's actually affordable. And it's called a glutathione patch, where you wear this wearable patch on your body, on your skin. It's like a little Band-Aid, and it actually stimulates your own glutathione levels. And that patch can actually bring your glutathione up by up to 300%. But here's the good news.
Say it again, because people could not believe it.
I know. And we've got the medical studies to prove it. It can raise up your glutathione levels up to 300%. But here's the good news. It's not just how high it goes. It's just that when you wear the patch every single day, now the problem I mentioned before with the glutathione going up in your blood and then dropping off, and then you don't have anything. This patch helps you to do what David Schmidt just said, to do it every single day, to have it in your bloodstream for as long as you're wearing the patch. So now you can have 16 hours a day of having your glutathione levels raised so high that you're now going to be well protected.
What does it take in time frame to get to as high as 300%? Recognizing that everybody's body is different. We're all a little more sensitive or a little less sensitive, so there's no guarantee on it. But the clinical studies that have been done independently, most of them are double-blind placebo studies, show that glutathione, the patch, raises 300%. What's the time frame in which that can happen?
The time frame is very quick. Again, as you said, there are differences in different people. Depends on if you're well hydrated. But this patch, remember, doesn't put glutathione into your system. This is phototherapy. This is modulating your body, your liver, to make its own. And it takes a couple hours. And you have got all of this glutathione coursing through, not just going through your stomach, but every cell of your body.
So as opposed to going through the stomach and all of the organs that passes through, and each one of them taking a little bit of a tariff on that, as it passes through, it just becomes less and less effective. It just stands to reason. You've got a patch applied to the body that stimulates the body. So that would be a non-transdermal patch, right?
Correct.
There's no
Correct.
drug coming through the patch into the body.
There's no drug. There's not even a supplement coming from the patch. The patch has a proprietary lattice work of sugar and crystals in nano form. In other words, very, very small, microscopic, and your own body heat reflects through that patch and then turns into a specific low-level frequency light wave that actually stimulates the liver to make this glutathione that is such an important antioxidant that our bodies need to protect ourselves.
Wonderful. You know, that is really good news for people. You know, we are being bombarded, as David Schmidt says. He's a man that is in tune with the environment, because he in this video, if you were to watch the whole thing, which is almost an hour, he talks about his belief in nature and in our creator status as to how our bodies were created. And this next video that I want to share really establishes why you and I, called our segment Age Reversing Health, because the studies that David has done over the years, it's always been about, improving your health, less pain, more energy, better sleep. And on that road, he found Age Reversing Health came about. I know you've seen it. So before I play it, tell me yourself, your own experience about what you've noticed in your clientele and yourself about Age Reversing Health.
Exactly. So let's connect the dots. The reason why we're talking now about age reversing health is that if you don't take care of your body, you're going to age very fast forward. And we want to age backwards. Well, you might say that's crazy, but David Schmidt's on the cutting edge of this kind of technology. Now, if you have too many toxins in your body, you are going to not be able to reverse your age. You're not going to be able to heal very well, because to reverse your age means resetting your genome. It means repairing all of the cells that are damaged. So we need to detox in order to achieve this age reversing that we're talking about. So David, in this clip that we're going to see next, he talks about something incredible. He says he gets his inspiration from God, but he also gets his inspiration from looking at nature and animals. And he said, why reinvent the wheel when we can just observe what God's already put on this earth to show us? And one of the animals that actually shows immortality or this age reversing kind of process is an animal you wouldn't have expected. It's a lobster, of all the things.
I was blown away about that. I think I love lobster. I didn't know these suckers can live to be 100 years old.
I know. And they actually could live immortally if for two reasons: that there are predators that end up eating them, especially humans who like to eat them.
I like to eat them.
That's right. And of course, they do have a longevity that stops at a certain age, not because they get sick with diseases, but because their shell can only expand so large and so big, and then that stops them from being able to grow. But their cells, David says, the cells of the lobster actually show that they have such strong amount of antioxidants, including the glutathione, that keeps them from getting sick. And these lobsters are actually something that we should be looking at to learn how to help humans. And David has done that, and he has learned a little bit more about these lobsters through connecting it to a Bible code. So he'll explain all that.
Let's let David in his words, because he says it so eloquently. Such a great guy to listen to. All right, let's hit the play button.
Another example in the area of healing would be on looking at species that don't age. And there's a new technology we're going to be releasing in October where I'll go into great detail about this, but the short story is we were involved in a research project looking at lobsters. And I wanted to know on a both biophysics level as well as the biochemistry, how can we understand how lobsters defeat the aging process? Lobsters will live to about 130, 150 years old, and they never age. The only reason why they die is they're either eaten by a predator, they get sick, or they outgrow physically the size of the biological limit on their shells. But otherwise, they won't age. So in studying this, I found a biological code and that they were using, and this was all based on light. So there's a system of light communications in lobsters that allows them to defeat aging. I was doing a Bible study, and I happened to find that same biological code in the story of creation in the book of Genesis. So God gives us the answers in the Bible. They're there. It's just a matter of us reading, understanding, investigating, and working in harmony with the laws of God and nature, and we can create some truly remarkable things.
Well, I want to start off by saying, first of all, if we pay a lot more attention to nature and the creator of that nature, we will learn some things and we will revisit some areas of truth that have long been forgotten. And we're living in that world right now that believes it has a better way to do it. But I'll tell you one thing, and on this interview, there are two other fellows there who profess the same belief, and that is that the answers are in nature and the God that created it. And this is what I love so much as I learn about LifeWave. I love the intentionality that he has to focus on what is immediately around us and say, can we not learn from this? How can we learn from this?
Exactly. We need to always stay true to the truth, and the things that really matter are the truth from nature and from God.
Well, that is exactly it. And that's why this segment of age reversing health fits well within the framework of things that matter, because in the end, you know, we talk about a health span and lifespan, right? That's a big difference. You talk about detoxifying your body. That's a big difference. If we start to do all of these things, Judy, we're going to start the process of looking, feeling, and acting younger. That's part of the age reversing phenomena.
Exactly. And I apologize. I got a frog in my throat. You asked me, though, Carl, a really good question just a few minutes ago, and that is, what evidence of age reversing have I seen in my clients or in myself? And in my clients, I have seen everything from arthritis just gone. Their pain is gone. I've seen people who've had brain fog and now they're thinking more clearly. They have more energy. People who've been able to get down on the floor and play with their grandchildren because their knees don't hurt so bad. I have a lady who was able to stop her kidney dialysis. Myself, totally, all the color of my blonde came back and I was 75% gray. And now I have all my color back. I haven't been to a salon to get my hair colored for 4 years because I've been on these.
It's a lot of money saved. I bet you Arnie is applauding this. Way to go, Judy.
Exactly. And I'm just so glad that I can afford these patches because I don't have to take so many supplements. I don't have to go to the hair salon. I used to go to the chiropractor and the massage therapist for my stiff neck, Carl. I had pain in my neck all the time. I used to go once a week. That was like $500-600 a month. I could put all that into something that helps me to actually detoxify and to have my age started to reverse. I am thrilled with what this product, what this company, LifeWave, has done for my husband, for myself, and my friends and my clients.
Well, I know we've got a few minutes left here, about 6, I'm thinking, if Brad is keeping track with me, and I see him saying, yeah, about right. I want to play this short video that is here as well. And it talks about the 7 to 10 year plan for empowerment to better health. You know, we have to adjust to the world that is changing and going in the wrong direction. And David Schmidt is a firm believer that we can empower ourselves. And I want to share this here, and then we'll make some final remarks here.
We have a 7 to 10 year plan to expand upon the mission that we started by empowering people to give them the best health possible. So when I started the business in 2004, it was just simply about giving people more energy, better night's sleep, and helping to relieve pain by all of this by using light. And as we progressed, we were able in our labs to develop anti-aging solutions, and now we have technologies that can help improve upon the way that people heal as well as overall wellness. So we've been able to become fastest growing company in the world in our industry for the last 4 years in a row. And this year we're going to achieve sales of over 600 million US dollars. So with that level of success, it gives us the ability to think about what do we want the next 7 to 10 years to look like. So from my perspective, it's all about empowerment so that we can address the concerns that you've brought up. So what that means in our world is that we develop technology to continue to give people options on how they might want to support their own health and well-being. So if someone decided they wanted to go a particular route and only use natural therapies, they would have many more options that exist than today.
Well, so you heard a little bit about the business there, but they don't talk a lot about the business. It's well known that LifeWave right now is one of the fastest companies of its kind in the world. You know, this is not a pitch, folks. Wherever you're listening from, you're listening to two people talk about an exciting product. We don't make any claims. We don't say that it'll help this or that it'll cure this or that. We never name them. In an earlier segment, David says we deliberately understate the benefits of the product. And I got to tell you, I get excited when someone takes such a humble approach and says, we're going to understate the benefits and you're going to realize incredible benefits once you try it. Because as one of the doctors said, Dr. Tillman says, it's a no-brainer. When you come to the end of the doctors who say, I'm sorry, there's nothing more we can do. You've tried everything. I want you to consider LifeWave, and you can reach out to us at what's on the bottom of the screen there, info at Things That Matter. We're just going to give you information, no selling, just information. Judy, you've been with the product now for a few years. In the final couple of minutes here, tell us what it's meant to you as a health practitioner, health coach, and personally being involved with this company.
Yeah, I can't say enough about what it's done to help me to do my life's mission of the reason why I believe I'm on this earth, and that is to help people. And in order to help people, I want to be able to see them feel better and to live better and to be able to enjoy the fruits of their labor. And that means helping them to not have to live the last 15, 20 years of their life crippled and in pain and laying in a bed or in a wheelchair or even worse in a hospital. So can you imagine being able to help people to actually live a long and fruitful and energetic life right up until the end? People think it's not possible, but it is possible. We see other societies and other parts of the world being able to live very strong and healthy, carrying 50 pounds of water on their heads, and when they're in their 90s. We can do it here in the West, but we just have to change our diet a little bit, detox, and have a positive attitude and be grateful. But very importantly, we need new technologies. And this technology that we are talking about today, Carl, this LifeWave technology has helped hundreds of my clients go from just maybe being okay to being excellent in shape, in their body fat content, in the way that they think, in the way that they sleep, in the less pain that they have. So yes, this is something that has changed my life for the better, but more importantly, those around me. And I just can't help but think that there are people out there who need this kind of help for themselves and their family and their loved ones.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Judy, as always. So good to have you back. We're back into our regular programming. We're going to be here again. We were a little off on our time this week, but that happens with technology. Thank you so much for being with us, and we'll look forward to what you're going to bring on the next segment of Age Reversing Health. God bless you, and take care.
Thank you. Take care.